Bring that coat down?
My bag.
I don't.
Don't you rat me, motherfucker. You can drive back and I'll ride free tomorrow. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I just didn't know.
I got screwed.
We work for a living.
I'm out of Boston. I'll be like, yeah, I like that hoodie. Yeah.
Damn, how you think this picture is still? Still?
I took that.
Yeah. You need to keep yourself on more. Better with that than yours.
Did you stay out of your shotgun? You were
watch out, bro.
open
She's
and
coming
shot
for
for
you.
y'all. Get them off.
I said, try to watch out. She's coming for you. It's making up for all my other inadequacies. The whole thing out there. Just take the whole thing out there. Unplug the mic and I'll take it out.
It was like he was trying to make sure that he didn't get them all.
come down here and play, the kind of football we did today, which was control the line of scrimmage. They had 38 yards rushing, and for us to run the football and close out the game with a drive of 8 minutes and 20 seconds, virtually running the ball every down. That's, those are the things that you look for in, a football team that is emerging as a contender. So proud of our group, proud of the way they prepared for this game, and certainly when you go on the road and win at an SEC venue, certainly a lot of things are coming together for our football team. So again, proud of the effort, and game ball went out to Damian Ramos. I thought the field goal kicks, while the game was still in balance, helped us, stay ahead of it and keep the momentum. And again, made some big plays. The Whit Weeks, obviously deflection and interception apparently was the backbreaker in the game. So great victory. Now we'll get 24 hours to enjoy it, and then we got to get back on the road and play the the best team in the SEC right now. The only team that's, other than us, undefeated. Another great challenge.
Can you elaborate on the Whit Weeks play? It seemed to be the turning point in the game, and then he made a sack right after that as well.
It's Whit Weeks. He's active, and in that situation, he was in a pressure situation where he was blitzing. But I think what stands out is he's active in virtually all of the plays. You saw a great play that he made coming later in the game down the line of scrimmage on a ball that bounced outside. He's an elite player in this league.
Coach, your defense held Arkansas to 277 total yards. What do you think was so effective defensively tonight that it kind of allowed that to happen?
Well, I think first and foremost, our guys are, we made some mistakes on the first drive, quite frankly. We had some errors. I think our guys were a little bit distracted emotionally. They were so charged up. We made some errors. We settled down, and I think what happened after that was guys did their job the way they were supposed to do it when they needed to do it, and that's execution, really. And they executed. They're beginning to execute at a much higher level consistently, and it starts with controlling the line of scrimmage. They could not run the ball. They became one-dimensional, and when that happens, we can get after it, and we can get after the quarterback, and we made life difficult for him.
Brian, I know 0 trophies are handed out now, but for this team to be where it is, heading into a game like you'll have at A&M next weekend, how do you just sort of, I guess, encapsulate the growth this team's put in the last several weeks, and just how has they been able to set this team up for what it potentially has in front of them?
Yeah, they have not blinked. We lost Jacoby and Gilroy, one of our, arguably our most talented and experienced defensive tackle. Then, obviously Harold Perkins, right? And, we haven't had Chris, who's our, vertical threat all year. And it just seems these guys just keep, playing, through, and the next man stepping up. Nothing seems to faze this group, whether they're down 17-0 on the road, or, struggling to put together, a great drive. They just keep playing, and it's to their credit. Now they're playing cleaner, and I think that that's a sign of a team that's really coming together.
Carl?
Was there anything to the false start penalties?
Yeah, we had 3 that were double clutches by our center, and sometimes that's on the quarterback, that he's taken a little bit too much time. I think the ownership in that is the management of the entire offense. We can easily say it was the crowd noise. Sometimes we have to get into a better rhythm, and that's getting the receivers lined up quicker. I mean, sometimes it's a fire drill out there. Garrett is getting information, and so look, all of that together, we got to clean it up because that stuff can't continue to happen. There were more penalties out there than I would like. We'll go back and we'll look at it more closely, but it's not one person. It's the whole management of it has to get cleaner.
Yeah, Coach. First time in SEC play, we got to see you guys take a big lead early, sustain it, and then extend on it in the second half. Just what kind of lessons can you learn in this game in particular on building the lead early and then sustaining it?
Well, just our vision to how we want to play 4 quarters of football is to start fast and then have just the great kind of focus that we had in the second quarter. Effort, enthusiasm in the third, which I thought we did with the big turnover, and then finish strong with an 8-minute plus drive to finish this game off. So I thought we had 4 quarters of LSU football for the first time, maybe. Yeah, there's some things around the edges we want to clean up, but when you go on the road and you beat a really good football team 34-10 in the SEC, I'd be crying over something that I shouldn't be really right now at this point. We should be taking this one and going, we feel pretty good about it.
Chase?
Hey, Coach, just what was kind of your assessment of how Garrett played today? In the first half, it seemed like he was sort of making some of the same mistakes that he made last week, just kind of throwing things up for grabs. So just, how do you think he bounced back from that, or what was your thoughts there?
Yeah, I wouldn't characterize him throwing stuff up for grabs. That's lazy, and I think that's an easy way to say somebody that's not detailed in his work. He's detailed in his work. He doesn't do anything by just throwing it up for grabs. So let's get that straight. He may have tried to fit a ball in where maybe he should not have, but everything that he does is thoughtful. Everything that he does is through hard work. He's still in a process of, getting the receivers on the same page with him. Look, there are so many things out there for him to continue to get better at, and the great part about it is he shows up with that kind of attitude every day. So I would just say that he is still working to be the best version of himself, and you're gonna continue to see him get better and better.
There's been so many wild results in the SEC so far, and everything seems to still be up for grabs. And is there a sense with your team of why not us? Why can't we be SEC champions this year the way you're playing?
I think that's pretty clear that this group kind of understands that now, especially with one game on the road, and then we go on a bye week, and then 3 out of 4 at Tiger Stadium. So I think they can now sense that they have put themselves in a pretty good position. Now they got to go earn it again on the road, but there's clearly a different way that they perceive the next 6 weeks, and I think by their standards, they believe they're getting better, and I believe they're getting better each and every week. And this is a good time to get better later in the year.
In the back?
Coach, you mentioned the turnovers and how important they were earlier. How important is it for those turnovers to kind of continue to happen from this defense going into these next 2 games?
Well, our defense, I think, if you look at the things that they're doing, number one, I think they led the SEC in sacks. We're if not, we're right up there. So we're getting those big plays, and now we're turning those into turnovers. There were some physical hits out there. We jarred the ball loose. They weren't sloppy, kind of put the ball on the ground. They were physical hits, And they were great plays with pressure. So sometimes you make those things happen, and we didn't luck into those. Those were made with pressures.
We have time for two more, Wilson.
Brian, y'all talked this week about trying to get the run game going. It certainly seemed like it did tonight. Why do you think that was kind of maybe finally clicked and was successful the way you wanted it to be?
I just think that this has been a constant focus over the last few weeks of really detailing out the things that we believe we do well and sticking with it. And being really committed to it. Like, we stuck with it, and quite frankly, we got the looks this week that allowed us to have a better running game as well. So commitment to it. In preparation, we're spending a lot of time in our preparation during the week on our run game. We believe we can throw it as well as anybody. We need to continue to have this kind of success in the run game.
Carl, you got the last.
The job the defense has done in the second half of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I know a lot of it's belief, but they got to get out there and execute too. Your thoughts on putting it all together?
So, absolutely. I mean, I think the biggest thing here is we had struggled with the first drive of the third quarters, and it's been kind of the way we have set up practices. We have talked about, okay, it's third quarter, it's the first drive right after kickoff, and it's been in the forefront of how we think about now the third quarter and that first drive, because it really sets us up. Because we believe if we can get our defense off the field with that first drive in the third quarter, good things will happen. So I applaud the kids in terms of their mindset and what they believe that they need to get done, and we're coaching to it, and they're taking to it. And now we got to go do it again against a really good Texas A&M team at their place. I know this was homecoming. I'm sure they'll schedule homecoming next week there against us too. It just seems like we get everybody's homecoming. So maybe next year they'll think about maybe not making us homecoming anymore.
All right, thanks,
All right,
guys.
thanks.
We'll have players outside.